Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 607 Dreas Way here in Newburgh. We're located at the front of the home just beyond the porch. We have a 3-inch ABS cleanout as our point of access. I'm going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Currently have water running. Here we go. And at the end we'll drain the line out completely and we'll scope the about 8-10 feet of pipe between the cleanout and the foundation of the house as well. So transitioning here to 3034 PVC pipe. It looks like it's just switching over to 4 inches, best I can tell. We'll have a better look at that when it's all drained out at the end. Seeing some wipes here in the flow line. You can see how much that's dammed up the pipe. We have very little water flow. Wipes are really want to avoid putting them down the line. They can really clog things up bad if you do it consistently anyway. My camera is going to probably remove pretty much all of these that are here, but definitely the only thing that should be going down the toilet in any circumstance is folded toilet paper. Even the flushable wipes, they're just as bad as paper towels. Alright, here's our, looks like the Y connection. A lot of these newer developments out here in Newburgh, there's a Y connection at the curb. That's what this is here, the Y connect. I think it's every other house together. We're right into, it's like some standing water there. We'll drain this out at the end so we can have a better look. But generally, once you've hit that Y connection, you're near in a shared line, as well as in the right-of-way, and that's city responsibility at that point. Any of this, and this is definitely standing water here. This is all would be the responsibility of the city. Alright, here at 67 feet we have hit the main lateral. We'll drain out the line completely. We may not be able to get all the water out because at this point here we've got another house tied into it. The main important part is from that first Y connection back towards the home is the homeowner responsibility. And located the camera head successfully out the main on Dreas. It looks like the line is, not that it really matters a whole lot, but is Y connected to the house to the left of this home. And we still have some running water. We're not going to be able to get this all drained out here as this is connected with the neighbors, at least in this portion of the line. And we do have some standing water here. You can forward the video onto the city. There's a fair amount. We're up to an inch of standing water here. But it's entirely up to the city as to whether they correct this or not. And I believe I've scoped another house in this, actually I've scoped a bunch of houses in this same little neighborhood here, and I had a similar situation with some standing water. So anyway, you'd have to contact them or send the video to them. More than likely, they're not going to touch it. They're going to, maybe at some point, 15, 20 years down the road, might correct it when they redo the street or something like that. I just went and located the start of the belly here. This is about 8 feet out into the roadway. This is well within city territory there. But typically, with an inch of standing water for that length, that's where I would typically recommend a repair at that point. So anyway, right here at the Y connection, generally in Newburgh, once you hit the right-of-way, which is generally at the sidewalk, the city takes responsibility from that point all the way out to the main. So that Y connection there, you can look at that as the end of responsibility. Yeah, and this spot here is in the grass curb strip, just for reference reasons, just prior to the curb, which is also in the right-of-way. A portion of this green pipe here we're in currently is also city responsibility. Now this spot here is looks like it's transitioning over to 4-inch pipe, and then once you hit the white connection, you're in 6-inch diameter PVC pipe. All that, in case you're wondering, all that stuff stuck to the top of the pipe there, that's grease, and that's very normal on a drop like that. When you have a hard drop, the water actually leaves the flow line and starts to ride the top of the pipe. A very common spot to get a deposit like that. If you don't put grease down the line, though, you won't have any of that. At this point, it doesn't need drain cleaning. It's not, that spot there is not in the flow line, not affecting flow at all. Now we're just about back to the clean out. We're going to reverse direction. Let's go back into the home. We're now going back underneath the porch here. Alright, we just went into the foundation of the house there. All the pipe from the foundation out to the street curb where the Y connection is at is in great shape, has good flow, and is functioning properly at this time. Got a little bit of grease here in the main line of the house. My camera is going to break most of that up there. We do have a belly here in the line, though, causing all this standing water. And that's a fairly good-sized belly there in the line. Now you'd have to talk to repair contractors. Sometimes this is just merely adjusting strapping that settles or stretches and causes the line to sag in the crawl space. We'll take a look at that on the way out here. When you shove the camera into all that water, it can kind of create a wake and exaggerate what we're looking at. But there's a pretty good stretch of pipe there with quite a bit. And it looks like we also have toilets. Sometimes you'll have a section of pipe at the very end or beginning of the line, depending on how you're looking at it, with standing water that doesn't affect things in a big way because there's hardly anything tying into that particular spot. That belly, though, does appear that we've got toilets and other fixtures that have to flow through it in order to get out. So, anyway, end up having almost more pipe inside the house than we did on the exterior here. And that's as far as I can go there. That is likely the very end of the line. We're 67 feet back into the home. This house is only so big. We're going to reel out here and try and figure out where that belly's at. It looked like there was at least an inch of standing water in that spot, though, and quite a lot of debris. It was very thick with junk built up in it. What I'll do, because it's in the crawl space, I don't have a crawl space wand or anything of that nature. What I'll do is I'll put some blue painter's tape down on the floor. And that's a reference for whoever may come and do the repair, if that is in fact negotiated, kind of get an idea of underneath the floor where that spot is at. I would also recommend a jet. You can see how thick that stuff is there. There's a lot of junk built up in the line. I'd recommend jetting the line on the interior of the house to clean all that stuff out. So our belly looks like it ends here at about 38 feet. In this particular spot here, I just put a small blue painter's tape X on the floor. We're going to do a toilet flush from any toilets at the rear of the house here to see if we get water flowing through. Alright, and we just got hit right there in the face with the flush. So we do have toilet flushes tying into this particular spot here and has to make it through that belly. You know, if you just had maybe a bathroom sink or something, it's not quite as big of a deal because you're just not handling all the solids coming down the line, but you can see that we're obviously getting a lot of solids and stuff going through this particular area. There's a ton of junk built up in this spot. So because of that reason, I do recommend a spot repair to correct this. I'll get it mapped out with painter's tape on the floor for reference for the whoever may do the repair if that's negotiated. Alright, we're going to keep rolling back here, and I'm going to put another blue X at the start of the belly. At this point here, we are at an inch of standing water. Typically, I start to see regular old toilet paper collecting lines once you get at least 5 feet of pipe with at least an inch of standing water. And we have a bit more than that here. The water level's sitting right around an inch, but it's definitely... We're looking at more like a 10-foot section of pipe here. Anyway, this is usually due to one of two things. Either someone did their math wrong and cut the pipe in incorrect lengths, and or it could be strapping. That is, if it's a suspended line, sometimes the strapping will stretch, and it merely just it requires the adjusting of the strapping. If someone did their math wrong and cut the pipe wrong, it does require that you start cutting pipe to readjust the angle. Anyway, our standing water starts here. I got to pull it just where we have absolutely no standing water in order to get that corrected. Belly starts here at 27 feet and extends out to about 38 feet, going back into the home under the crawl space. All right, the belly starts, there's a hall bathroom, and then there's a closet right outside the door of that bathroom. I'm picking the locate up right between the wall that separates the bathroom from that closet. So I put a blue X on the floor right inside that closet up against the wall. Basically from that closet area to about the end of the island in the kitchen is where that belly is at. Those are kind of rough. I mean, they're pretty dead on, but just the plumber should understand that that's not going to be a totally accurate locate like I'm doing on the outside of a house. A little trickier going through a floor like that, but that is the rough outline of that belly. I do recommend a spot repair to correct that spot. Aside from that, the rest of the pipe that's on property we've scoped here is in good condition, has good flow, and is functioning properly. I do recommend a hydrojet as well to clean the grease out of the line. There's a lot of buildup in there from that belly. And for the most part, most of that buildup is on the interior of the house and not on the exterior, and that's because of the standing water causing it to hang up in the line. Recommend a rescope after the repair is done to ensure that it was done correctly.